So welcome everyone to the Gita class. And I'm seeking the blessings of the senior devotees and all the devotees here so I can share something that will enlighten me and also will help us all. Om Gana Timaranda Shah Gana Gana Salakaya Takshumali Tamyena Tasmai Shigarve Namaha Shri Saitanya Manobi Stam Sapi Tamyena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadate Swa Prantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaisnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagojatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Savadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Saitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Para Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Vancha Kapyas Dubhyas Cha Kripa Sindhu Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gauda Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the last chapter in this Bhagavad-Gita, as it is, the Song of God, that he's talking to all of us living entities. It's called Perfection of Renunciation. It's text 63. Itike ganam akyatam Guyad guyantaram maya Vimishyaitad asashena Yate chasi tatakuru. Okay, we'll do the word for word. Iti, thus, te, unto you. Jnanam, knowledge. Akyatam, described. Guyat, then confidential. Guyataram, still more confidential. Maya, by me. Vimrisha, deliberating. Itat, on this. Aseshena, fully. Yata, as. Ichasi, you like. Tata, that. Guru, perform. Purport and translations by His Very Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Thus I've explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Please repeat. Thus I've explained to you. Knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Purport. The Lord has already explained to Arjuna the knowledge of Brahmabhuta. One who is in the Brahmabhuta condition is joyful. He never laments, nor does he desire anything. That is due to confidential knowledge. Krishna also discloses knowledge of the Supersoul. This is also Brahman knowledge of Brahman, but it is superior. Here the words yate chasi tata kuru, as you like, you may act, indicate that God does not interfere with the little independence of the living entity. In Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord has explained in all respects how one can elevate his living condition. The best advice imparted to Arjuna is to surrender unto the super soul seated within his heart. By right discrimination, one should agree to act according to the order of the Supersoul. That will help one become situated constantly in Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Arjuna is being directly ordered by the Personality of Godhead to fight. Surrender to the Supreme Personality of God is in the best interest of the living entities. It is not for the interest of the Supreme. Before surrendering, one is free to deliberate on this subject as far as the intelligence goes. That is the best way to accept the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such instruction comes also through the spiritual master, the bona fide representative of Krishna. Iti te gyanam akyatam guya guya taramaya vimishyaitad asashena yati chasi tata kuru. Thus I've explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. So we've gotten to the last chapter of the Gita, the Song of God. And he's explaining the perfection of renunciation. But one thing I wanted to look at, in the previous verse, 62, Krishna says, O scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. So when Krishna says surrender unto him, he's talking about himself, but he's talking about himself in the third person. It's the super soul that he's asking Arjuna to surrender to. Actually, I had that question about a month or so ago, and I wondered why Krishna was saying him. And then a couple of days ago, because I was studying, I got the answer that I was looking for about why he was referring to himself as him, utterly. And then I want to talk about this word utterly. What does it mean? So utterly means completely and without qualification. It means absolutely, wholly, fully, without reservations. And utterly is described as an intensifying word. So we should give ourselves wholeheartedly with all heart and emotions to Krishna. Because I was actually meditating on the fact that this book is called The Song of God. And it's a call of love. What is God's song? It's just about love. It's just about calling us back. He's given us so much information here, what we actually need to know as a basic foundation. But in the end, it all comes down to serving him, loving him, and becoming his devotee, because we are all actually parts and parcels of the Supreme Person of Godhead. And we won't be happy until we take up our constitutional position. First in the Gita, Krishna is establishing himself as the supreme and the only one we should surrender to. And he's Arjuna, he's explaining to Arjuna, but actually we know Arjuna is a pure devotee. So he's actually representing us. Krishna is talking to all his living entities who are wandering in this material world looking for happiness. So then, the Brahma-bhuta stage, he says here, he's explained to Arjuna the knowledge of Brahma-bhuta. And Brahma-bhuta is explained further in different chapters, particularly more in the succeeding verses here, but also in 524, which I'd like to read to you. So he's talking about the Brahma-bhuta stage. He's saying, one whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He's liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? So we see in this material world that every living entity is looking outside of surrender to Krishna for his happiness, because everyone wants to be supreme. They want to be the supreme person. They want to be the main person. Actually, I was relating to one devotee. We were talking the other day about when I was in Hillsborough, I was helping one Mataji. She was doing a Gita class, and we had, a few people coming, and there were two women who were scientists. And the issue they were having problems with was they kept asking why Krishna sounds so conceited. Like he's saying, surrender unto me, it's all about me. And they were disturbed about that. They were like, why does he have to say that? They just couldn't get with that, which means that, of course, they're thinking, we're scientists, we know everything. Why is he saying, me, I'm just surrendering to me, I'm the one. They had a lot of difficulty with that. And in fact, they came for some time, but they stopped, coming. But at least, they heard the mantra and they read some of the Gita, so they make some progress. So we see everyone wants to be the supreme person. I want to be important. I want to be important in this world. We see that's what's going on, which is creating a lot of havoc. So it says a liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahmabhuta, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back to home. So this stage is reached due to, like reading the sastras, coming to understand all of this confidential knowledge that the Lord is explaining to us living entities. And so we know in Rajavidya, it's the supreme knowledge, it's Rajavidya, and I wanted to read that verse. Okay. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Padyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. That means we all should be happy, to be performing devotional service to the Lord. I had an opportunity to get some realizations by something that happened to me several days ago, which I will share. I was in the temple room, and I guess I was actually not really paying attention. I was paying more attention to the kirtan, and someone took my purse. And I had just been to the ATM and gotten some money. Someone had just purchased a phone for me, a modern phone, which I don't have, which I didn't have, and they felt like, oh no, you need, because everybody's asking, you don't have WhatsApp, what's the problem? You need WhatsApp, you know what I mean? And I was happy without it, it was okay with me, but they felt I should have it, so they got it for me. And and I had my debit card in there. So I had some time to really process all of this. The first thing is, I was thinking, at first I was calm. I was like, okay, I can just go, call the bank, tell them about, get all that done, get all the passwords changed and this and that. But then I was thinking about attachment, because attachment causes makes you unhappy. It causes misery, actually, especially when you lose that thing. And so I was thinking, but this is not me. I still need to be Krishna conscious. I still need to be in that mode of being happy, just thinking of Krishna. Because what am I saying? Oh, why does it happen to me? Why didn't it happen to somebody else? You know what I mean? So that's the mood, you're saying, why? But of course, why not? Why not have it happen to you? What's the problem? You know what I mean? Because in the end, we have to lose our bodies. We have to give that up. That's the dearest to us. So what to speak of, those little things that we, are so attached to, so I was thinking, so I really thought about that. And also to help me, today I saw this verse, this quote given by Radhanath Maharaj, and he says, we should never complain when things go wrong in our life. We should never blame this person or that person. We should see that everything is happening by the sweet, sweet will of the Lord. Okay? So, and he's to give me the perfect opportunity to become his pure devotee. So and that's just a small thing, actually. Because when we read the philosophy, when we read the Mahabharata, when we read the lives of the pure devotees, what did they go through? It's not, what happened didn't even compare to what's going on with them. Okay, we see the Pandavas, their life was so intense. Somebody trying to kill you, take your life because they want, they're attached to those material things. They want the throne, they want the kingdom, they want, the throne to sit on it, like Dhritarashtra and his family. So, and what to speak of Draupadi, who was, dragged through the court. She was a queen, but she was dragged through the court, and they tried to strip her in front of all the court, So, and look at Prahlad Maharaj's life. He was always Krishna conscious. He was always pure devotee of the Lord. And the one who was nearest and dearest to him, the one you expect protection from, was, trying to kill him in all kinds of horrific ways. So what to speak of a little phone? What to speak of a little Lakshmi? What to speak of, all the things that, of course we do the practical, we do what needs to be done, but we don't lament. We don't lament about losing something because we're going to have to lose it and give it up anyway. So just, so this was what was going through my mind the whole time. I'm not going to be unhappy about losing something like that. I want to be happy in Krishna consciousness, So just detach from it, And I also want to thank those devotees who helped me, just giving me a little Lakshmi and helping me out. It was really sweet, But still, this is what I've been thinking. This is for my purification. Krishna is working with me personally to help me detach from a lot of things, And so I didn't even get a chance to get attached to the phone anyway. I only had it maybe 2 weeks. So he saved me from that attachment. It's okay, she doesn't need that, So that was really and also for me, I was just thinking, too, that Krishna pays attention to each individual living entity and gives them what they need, And it may be what is that prayer? You can, what is it? You can, yes, make me brokenhearted by not being before me, or you can, I never said that prayer, but he's coming on like that. Okay, whatever Krishna, because whatever Krishna does, it's always for our good. Krishna cannot do anything bad. This is no way, So I had a chance to really meditate on that, and I just wanted to share that with everybody, my realizations around what was happening with me afterwards, So we'll go on, So he's saying in this purport. You know, like we have the confidential knowledge, which is the knowledge of Brahman. Then we have still more confidential, how he's super soul in everyone's heart. So Krishna comes as the super soul, and he accompanies every single living entity, you know, wherever they are. He comes with them as the friend, as the well-wishing friend, and sits in their heart. The plants, the fish, every living entity, Krishna is sitting in their heart, watching all the activities. And as, what was his name? A couple of classes ago, Keshi Damana was talking about, you know, the two birds sitting in the tree. And one bird is thinking he's enjoying the fruits of the tree. He's so busy trying to enjoy the fruits, he doesn't see his friend who's sitting right next to him, the other bird, watching all of his activities, you know. So, and he's just waiting. When will this person turn to me? When is he gonna, like, give this up and stop thinking that he can enjoy, you know, this bitter fruit that he thinks is so sweet? You know. So the super soul is conscious of all bodies, but we are minute individuals, souls, and we're only conscious of our own body. And then all things that are existing are due to the presence of Krishna coming as a super soul. So this thing about he does not interfere with our little independence, the little independence of the living entity. But it's saying let's see, where is this one? There was another one here. He says, the living entity is not independent. This is in text 61. And he says, in that pulpit at the bottom, the living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender. So, in one hand, he says, the little independence, and he says they don't have any independence, you know. So the independence we have is to choose. You want to choose Krishna, or you want to choose Maya? But we're always under, and Maya is actually Krishna. Under Krishna's, he's the master, he's the controller of everything, so he controls her as well. So those are the only two options we have. So we have a choice. You know, we can say no, or we can say yes. That's our little minute independence. And better we, you know, surrender to the Lord, the Supreme Lord, who knows what's best for us. Krishna is fully independent, but we're not. So we've chosen to try to forget Krishna. But he says, so that's, you know, we're all unhappy. You know, the living entities are unhappy. You know, they're in a suffering condition, and a lot of them don't even know that they're suffering. Although, you know, even if they have a lot of money, you know, you see the richest people, they're unhappy. If you go into their homes, they're not happy. You know, they're drinking, they're womanizing, they're doing all kind of things because they're still looking for that happiness, to fill up that hole in the heart. You know, they're not seeing Krishna as a super soul in their heart. You know, they're trying to fill it in with, you know, so many things. I mean, you know, we can see, you know, we can see, if we look around, we see, no, they're not happy. They just think they're happy. And becoming more and more depressed and more in anxiety. You know? He says, Mamai vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasasandriyani prakriti stani karshati. The living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they're struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. You know, so we know, you know, that the mind gives us a lot of trouble, you know, so much trouble. Even when we're trying to chant, we're having the mind keeps coming in there, trying to interfere with the fact that we're trying to chant the holy the holy name of the Lord. And of course, the mind is very strong. We know he says so in Bhagavad-Gita 6:35 when Arjuna, when he tells Arjuna to control the mind, and Arjuna says, I'm thinking that's very impossible, that I cannot do that, So, and then, of course, there's so many opposing elements in this material world. So we definitely have the need to chant and engage the mind in performing devotional service. So, so he's saying the best advice imparted to Arjuna is to surrender under the super soul seated within his heart. And by right discrimination, one should agree to act according to the order of the super soul. And let's see, in the super soul. So I'm trying to find the verse where we have Krishna talks about even if we don't have, are not strictly following, like the order of the spiritual master, but Krishna within gives us the intelligence, to how to come to him. Now I forget the name of that verse, and it says that I thought I had written down. Okay. So we should act according to the super soul. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata, for coming. Yes, thank you so much for coming. So that will help us become situated constantly in Krishna consciousness. And we have so much help from all the acharyas, from Srila Prabhupada. If we just have to read his books. We just have to apply the philosophy. There's no use in reading the books if we're not applying the philosophy. We need to. It's not like something that happened a long time ago and those were those people at that time because it was so long ago. No, it applies to us now. I know in my life, whenever I'm facing difficulty, if I pick up one of Srila Prabhupada's books, he's speaking directly to me. It addresses my problem, So that's helping us to deal with the issues that are going to come. He didn't say if you come to Krishna consciousness, everything's going to be peachy, creamy. You won't have any problems. No, he didn't say that, But we are under his protection. And what we do get is not even what we should get, actually, He's minimizing because we've surrendered to him, So he's saying, and then also Arjuna is being directly ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to fight. And so he's on the battlefield. And we're on the battlefield of consciousness. We have to fight with our consciousness. We have to keep remembering. The adage is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. In whatever circumstances we're in, we should always remember the Lord, the Supreme Lord. And it said here, he's asking us to surrender. It's not in his interest, he's the Lord, But because of he's the seed-giving Father. He's loving us. He's loving all of his children, So he wants to see the best for us. And he knows what is the best. The best is to give this up. Give all of this up, this playground where we're trying to be king and queen of all we survey. We can see we've made a big mess of everything. Everything's a mess in the world because we're playing. When you put a child, okay, the mother's cooking and the child wants to jump in and help and you're like, oh, this is not going to work because I can't get my thing done because they're getting all in it. So then you set up something for the child over on the side. You give him a play stove, give him play pots. He'll probably get a little mud. You cook, make your mess over there, So this is us. He put us here so we can, and we made a mess. We see everything is so messy. Everything's messy. We have no control over it. We're thinking we're controlling material nature, but we're not. You can see the oceans. You can see the fires. You can see the flooding. You can see everything. And we have these three, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adi Atmika. These are all disturbances. We're going to always be disturbed by all of these because we're living in this material world. So all those disturbances are going to come naturally. Anyway, just by dint that we're in this material world. So, so I wanted to just talk a little bit about what are we gaining by surrendering, So this knowledge that we're all getting, it's so what do I call it? It's like, for me, like I'm in kindergarten, but somebody's giving me college education, and I'm trying to understand it. It's such a high level of knowledge. And as I was saying before, but we have help. We have so much help. We have the spiritual master. We have Srila Prabhupada, who gave us everything. Some will say he didn't give us everything, but he gave us everything we need to know. There's nothing else we need to know. And also in the books written by the acharyas, it talks about all the things we will encounter as we try to go through this process. So they're giving us help. We just need to take advantage of it, with our chanting, with our mind. Whatever is going on is being addressed. And we just need to utilize it, to help us come through this process and to attain the supreme goal, of love of Godhead, and to be able to go back home and want to go back home, not just read about it, but want to go, and be back with Krishna, be in constitutional position, serving him and sharing love, loving and being loved by him. So this process also in Bhagavad-Gita 3:3, the process is flawless. So all of these things I'm going to name, what we gain by it, I put all the chapters that you can look in if you want to know what the further explanation of the things I'm going to talk about or give to you, So also we attain the highest realization. There's nothing else to know. I remember when I was coming to this process, once I understood that this was the absolute truth, I was thinking, well, where is else to go? Been looking all over, and it's not about feeling. It's not about emotionalism. What does he say? Without philosophy, it's sentiment.
Religion without philosophy
Yes.
is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism.
Yes, So, so we attain the highest realization, and that's in Gita 7:26. And then we become comfortable because we're back in our constitutional position. Once we start doing devotional service, we don't want to stop. We feel this is it. This is what I want to do. I feel happy serving the Lord, And he promises us protection, and he reciprocates. And I don't think there's any of us that haven't had reciprocation from the Lord. He's always reciprocating. And then we transcend the modes. Our karma is transcended. That's in 4:14. We get relief from suffering. That's in 1862, further on in this chapter. Our sinful reactions are removed. That's in 1866. The mind becomes steady, 266, and satisfied, 343. All misgivings are removed. That's 516. We have freedom from the bodily conception of life. I'm black, I'm white, I'm this woman, I'm man, I'm Uranian, I'm European, I'm whatever. We're none of these designations. And we get freedom from illusion. How can we can't be an illusion anymore. Everything's shown to us. We're experiencing it. Our eyes have been opened by the torchlight of knowledge from our spiritual master. So we see things as they are. And they're not nice, in fact. And we have freedom from the dualities of nature and from material desires. If we keep working on the process, Just keep working on the process. We're all works in progress. That's the point. We're working on it. We free from bewilderment, 272. Our sinful reactions are removed, 331 and 1866. We don't have to take rebirth. That's a big one, because here, who likes getting old? Nobody likes getting old, It's troublesome. It's a problem. You can feel it, Your body is just like going down, 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 dwindling. You're getting all kind of aches and pains, from this body, because that's the natural process. It's natural. The material energy and time is working on us, But we don't have to identify with the body. We can identify with our spiritual self, and that's always young. It's eternal, And we're freed from material duties. That's in 317 through 19. And we're free from the material conception of life. That's in 241. And we're free from anxiety. We're free from debts and obligations in 245. We can become detached, and we become fearless. And we can attain peace. Krishna says in verse 62, by his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. But he doesn't say just peace, but he says param satim. That's transcendental peace, peace of mind and peace of heart. The peace of mind means no anxieties or troubles, and peace of heart, which comes from loving and being loved by the Lord. And we know, if we come from the Christian tradition, it's said in the Bible that it's that peace which passes all understanding. So this type of peace cannot be attained on the material level. On this level, the heart can rest in joy. So in chapter 10, verse 8, Krishna says, Aham sarvasyo pramavo mata sarvapavartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise, who perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. And in the introduction, is page 19, it says, the living entities, like the Lord, are full of consciousness, and they are after happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy. And if the living entities associate with the Lord, cooperate with him, and take part in his association, then they also become very happy. So I will end here. I thank you so much for your kind attention. It's open for corrections, for additions, for comments, please. Yes, Babu, you can use this mic, please.
Thank you, Mataji, for your
Mike, this is for
very
the...
loud.
Oh, but this is for the audience that are listening on the radio, if the radio's on.
My question may not be connected to the class exactly.
Put it on, yeah. Please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, my question is very personal. That I was thinking while listening to your class, that while coming nearly to Krishna consciousness, there is a lot of excitement in different aspects of devotion, such as like dancing, prasadam, feasting, devotees, philosophy. But then when the decades pass, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, then sometimes the struggles are so high, and we see the outside, the materialistic people who were with us, who couldn't come to Krishna consciousness, maybe our friends, relatives. And in one sense we see that, oh, they are happy, they are enjoying. Materially also they have made a lot of progress. And we are struggling materially also and spiritually also. So sometimes I feel we are nowhere. So how to pass over this struggle? how to help myself?
It's a good question. How's your chanting going? Oops. How's your chanting?
Chanting not very satisfactory because I have this touring service. I take devotees on tour, so sometimes I have to leave early morning, 6, 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. I can only speak for me. Like, if my chanting is not nice, if I'm not really trying to connect with the Lord, because, the mind is going to interfere, then I can become morose, or my consciousness doesn't go lower. But if I really give my attention to chanting, at some point you have to find some time to chant nicely, because otherwise, what are we doing? If we're not able to chant, then it just becomes material activity, and then you start looking back at, oh, what did I leave? Like you were saying, I'm seeing that they're all happy, and they're not really happy. They're not really happy. You know that, actually. So I remember too when the question used to come up. I've heard a lot of devotees say, "Where's the nectar?" But and also in the beginning, I remember too, I was so excited to find this knowledge. I was like too excited. And Krishna gives you that taste in the beginning because you're coming. But also, as you move on, you have to make more of an effort. It's not like, he's just going to give it to you on a platter. Although Prabhupada said we can be Krishna conscious in a minute if we want to. It's the desire, the determination, the discipline. We have to make some sacrifice in order to reach that level where we want to go. So does it mean, can you get up earlier and at least chant, say, 8 good rounds to really try to connect with the Lord? That's your time with Him. That's an exchange. That's a personal exchange, trying to reach the Lord. If you're not trying to reach Him, then He can be doing other things too, because He's like, well, okay. So He has to see our determination to connect with Him. We have to see, and He can give us the mercy too if He sees we're trying. So we shouldn't look at the materials and think, oh boy, they're having such a good time, I'm not, because it's not like that. No, it's not like that. And you can also, talk with your spiritual master. That's why you have one, because he can help you with that problem. When you have a spiritual master, you share with the spiritual master what you wouldn't even share with your wife. Your spiritual master is the one who's really interested in your spiritual development and wants to see you progress and wants you to reach the goal. So you have to talk to him the difficulty that you're having, and he can practically give you what you need to do. That's his purpose. Otherwise, why take a spiritual master? We can't figure it out on our own. Does anybody else have anything else to add to that? She had. Yeah, please pass the mic to Bhagavad-Gita.
Well, my so much to add to that.
But
But it might apply. I had my hand raised just to make a couple of comments. But one of them was how you said how Prabhupada reciprocates with us all so individually through his books. So I was going to give an example that happened to me recently. I was somehow or another, circumstances made me a very upset quarrel with a very dear friend. And it was pretty bad. It was almost like, okay, this is over. And then I said, well, the funny thing is I've just been reading in Srimad Bhagavatam the chapter about Lord Krishna's disappearance from the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to what I read this morning. And I got the book and I started reading because Maharaj Yudhisthira was asking Arjuna, why are you so depressed? And he was guessing within his mind, maybe Krishna's left, but he didn't get the answer yet. But then in that, it said, it seems like in this age, now, things that were so wonderful when Krishna was here, even the husband is quarreling with his wife, even the friends are quarreling with friends, all these things that we were going through, and she's like, oh. So we sat down and read Bhagavad-Gita together for about an hour, and everything turned out fine. And I was like, that was pretty deep.
Yeah, yes.
But it's not so much an answer. It was
Thank
just
you.
what I wanted to.
Yes, and one thing is what I'm trying to put into practice is, especially if I'm serving devotees and maybe we're not in agreement or something has happened that has disturbed the relationship, but then I think, well, the service is separate from the service is unconditional. You're serving the person. If you really want to serve the person, you serve them. And they're not here to gratify my senses. I'm here to try to serve, to be a servant. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to, first of all, thank you. Your class is so inspiring. I especially liked how you were saying, so what do we get? And you go verse after verse after verse after verse after verse. You were telling, this is what Krishna promises. This is what we get from doing this process. But I did have a question. You started by mentioning how Krishna refers to himself in the third person. And I think you touched on it, but I missed it. So I wanted to hear you elaborate. Why did Krishna choose in this 1863 to say, surrender to him, rather than surrender to me? I think you said it was because he's talking about the super soul.
Yes, it's the super. Oh, do you want me to talk about the super soul? Because maybe someone else can address that.
Why Krishna made that choice?
Yes. In fact, I don't know, actually. I'm not, maybe someone addressed it in the previous class as to why on the Bhagavad-Gita. Mother Bhagavad-Gita, who's I've known for years and years from Gita Nagari, and she's Prabhupada's disciple. And we served in Gita Nagari together. Haribol.
Kartamishra was Vrindavan, head pujari for 10 years. But again, I didn't have a specific answer to you, but you reminded me that I also wanted to comment on that part when you were talking about how the ladies, the scientist ladies were coming to your Gita group, and then they kept asking, why does Krishna say, surrender to me, surrender to me? Well, it just reminded me, we have a Chaitanya Charitamrita ladies group reading once a week in Arunachala. And so one devotee was telling how when she first came to Krishna consciousness and was reading Bhagavad-Gita, she thought, she was thinking, he's saying, give it to me, surrender to me. She said, Krishna is so male. I like Srimati Radharani because you don't even see her name in the Bhagavatam. It just cracked me up. I never heard anybody say from that point of view. I wanted to share it. But he does. But it's the thing is, when other people say something like that, Lenin or Trump or some big world leader, surrender to me, I've got the answers. They don't have the answers. They don't have any solution. They don't care about the people.
Right.
But Krishna is the source of everything, of all of us, the whole spiritual and material world. Everything's resting on him. So when he says surrender unto me, and we do it, it works.
Yes. Yes. Yes, so, Hare Krishna, Kartamishra Prabhu.
Mother, you were speaking about chapter, text, Slok 61. The Lord is telling that we have independent here, he says we don't have independent.
Oh, you mean when he says, yes.
So, naturally we understand we don't have independent. You see, we are coming here, this inspiration is given by Krishna. We, by ourselves, we cannot do anything. Just like we attend morning programs, this thing. Even though suppose you feel lazy, but he picks us up and asks to go that you have to go for this one. So he's inspiring everyone. Just like you said, he's to the plants, fish, and everyone. So Lord is doing everything, and we think that we are doers. But actually, doer is the Lord. He is giving us all inspiration to do, whether right or wrong. If I want to do wrong, he also gives inspiration, okay, you do wrong. Then you have to suffer also. He indicate, but we don't think that one. And just like we are so many men and women, everybody have different desires. But some of the desire they cannot put it out. Suppose I like somebody, I cannot say I like to this one. This is he is controlling us that you don't have to do these things. If you do this thing, you have to suffer. So he is always controlling us that we should be in control and do the things proper. And just like we are in this Krishna conscious movement, so we are associating with devotees, we are listening to each other, we are chanting, we are helping each other to chant, we are helping each and everyone to come to the programs. This is the inspiration given by Lord. Nothing we can do. He says, remembrance and forgiveness is given by Him. So all the things, whatever we are doing, which nonsense, He gives us forgiveness, and whatever good we are doing, He gives us remembrance.
Yeah.
Correct.
He also says if you want to forget him, he will help you to do that. That's what you said. He will help you.
Remembrance also. If you want to forget him, He will give forgiveness. He does everything, but we think that we are the only. And one more thing, Radhanath Maharaj has given this example of why bad things happen to good people. So we are very good with people and people do bad to us. Because of our karmas are there, that's why it happened to me sometimes before. Somebody, I was very good with them, that they tried to do something wrong to me. And that was, I said, it is not your fault, it is my bad karma, that's why you are doing this nonsense to me. Otherwise, I am not capable to take any nonsense from anyone.
Yes, it's said in the Srimad Bhagavatam when Parikshit came across the Sudra, the Kali, who was beating the bull, but they didn't blame anyone, the bull nor the cow. They didn't blame anyone, that this person did this to me. We don't want to take this mood of being a victim, because we're not. We're just reaping some of our karma, but we're not victims of anything. And there was one thing that came to mind when we have problems. This is in 1520, why we're having problems. This is not the only one, but it says, while one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees and full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which are required to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of the heart. Sometimes we just have weakness of heart, not determination. So we can, if anyone else, I'm sorry about your question. I'll see if I can find the answer for you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry. One more. She wants to. You have. Where's the mic?
Thank you for your wonderful class.
Thank you.
If I may just add a little bit on what Prabhu said. About 20 years ago, I attended a seminar by Gurujan Prabhu about why we lose taste sometimes of the chanting or devotional service.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons could be the Vaishnava apparatus.
Yes, thank you.
And,
thank you for that.
Yeah. So how do we rectify? Sometimes we don't even know, unknowingly
Yes.
we do it. So how do we rectify it? By prayers.
Yes,
Real deep prayers to the Lord. Forgive me and give me the chance to call your names all the time. But I have a question for you as well. If you may.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes. I just want to reconcile.
Okay. Yes.
In chapter 9, text 22, Krishna said, one who devoted his life to me, I carry what they like
And provide one, yes.
In your situation, you were deep in meditation on the kirtan. So how do we reconcile what happened to you with what Krishna says? Please explain if you think I can understand.
Okay, well, he preserves what you have and provides what you lack. So he provided what I lacked. The devotees came and gave me, who knew about it. So he took care of it. But also, and practically, I had to go and, like change the passwords. I mean, it's not that you don't do anything. You just sit and wait for Krishna to do. You have to do. So I went and did all the practical things that I should have done right after it happened, And then several days later, several devotees found out and took care of the money that I had. They replaced, and that was Krishna. He has to do it for, he provided what I lacked. And then afterwards, I was standing in front of Krishna Parama, and I felt very happy. Like I didn't want to be morose. I was very happy. Hare Krishna. Mm-hmm.
Because you already said in the class that all these things, whatever we have, it's all going to be taken away, the body, all our relatives and everything. So when he carries what we
Put it on.
love,
Okay.
when
Yes.
he carries what we lack, it may not mean the material things.
Right.
May be that, you were feeling satisfied in your devotional service, but that gave you an opportunity to go deeper and realize, all the things you said in class, I don't need this. I want to love Krishna, whether he takes it away or gives me. So that he's providing even more.
Yes.
Carries what you lack in terms of spiritual deepening. You got that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for everyone for attending the class. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Bol.